Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, we've been talking about the five pillars, the five mathematical pillars of Islam. And we're going more and more in depth in it because we need to understand what that's all about. That's your nature. It's your nature. Five pillars of Islam, mathematical pillars of Islam. That's your nature. The five aspects of your nature. Comprehensive. Because we are mathematics. Mathematics, everything. But mathematics takes many forms. For instance, if you have the number 12, you can define it as 5 plus 7, 6 plus 6, 2 plus 10, 3 times 4, 15 minus 3, all kinds of ways that you can, 24 divided by 2. It takes different forms, but it's still mathematics. So the five fundamental mathematical pillars of Islam is our nature, because we have there's five aspects to our nature. Abraham prayed, he asked Allah, says, teach them the book and the wisdom. What book? And the wisdom. So the Sunnis would tell you, oh, that meant the Quran. Okay, if that's the Quran, then where's the wisdom? See, because he said both in conjunction. See, the wisdom is the five pillars of Islam. That's the wisdom. All based on force, all based on pressure. There's five aspects of pressure. Pressure is just force, same. Force is just an analytical aspect of pressure. Pressure is a spatial side of pressure. Force is analytical side, a fundamental principle, and pressure is also force, but it's the spatial side of it. Okay. Because pressure is just force. It's just in spatial context. Force is just force, right? But it's an analytical and linear context. One's voluminous and one's linear. So we're going to talk about it a little bit because we've been talking about this in the sense of, what it means and how it applies to you directly. But we haven't talked about it in the sense of how it applies in interreactions, because that's what pressure is all about, interacting with people. Interact. If you only have one person, there would be no force, no pressure. See, you just be a force but no pressure. See, pressure is when you have a lot of forces interacting. It's collisions. The more collision, the greater the pressure. But see, we're interacting people. We interact with people every day. You interact with people every day. When you talk to a person, interact with them, right? When you bump into a person, you interact with them. You communicate in any kind of way. When you see a person you're interacting, they may not realize it, but you've been affected by what you see. And some of these interactions are mild. Some of them are acceptable, like intimate relations with the opposite sex. Those interactions. They're not traumatic. In some cases they might be traumatic, but they're acceptable. In fact, they're expected. They're desired. Some interactions are fatal. See, some are traumatic. All kinds of interactions we have. So we got to understand what that means, what the five pillars of Islam means in relation to interaction with others. So we're going to go into that, but again, the same refrain. Who will win the war of Armageddon? I've said it from two different perspectives. I talked about it from the perspective of Daniel, where they talk about it in the context of being in a fiery furnace, which we are. America's a fiery furnace. It says we tried in the furnace of affliction. The sealed Bible says we're being in the furnace of affliction. That's where we are. We've been under severe heat, where heat is pressure. Heat is pressure. It's all pressure. But severe, but not this kind of pressure that you don't desire, though. So I said some pressures, right? Some interactions that are acceptable or desirable. Some are unacceptable, right? And definitely not desired. And that's what we've been under for 400 years. Intense pressure. See? Very uncomfortable. More than uncomfortable. Detrimental to most of us. But there's a benefit, because we always we're wise people. We always turn everything to our benefit. So we're using this pressure to transform ourselves into a better self, to a more powerful self, into diamonds. See, greater than we ever was before. That's what we're doing here. A lot of us not making it. Some of us being crushed to dust, partly because they don't have this wisdom. See, you need wisdom to transform. That's why I have a distinction between a believer and a disbeliever. See, the believer accepts information, the scripture, the times, and they take and act on it. The disbeliever, they're lost in the past. They won't accept any change. The jinn, I'm not changing. They're stuck in the past, or they're stuck in the present. They can't move on to the future. Oh, Elijah's last one, ain't nobody after him, and mess with black man. Because you just listen to them. If you was here 100 years from now, I'm still telling you nothing else coming after Elijah, nothing else coming after the mess of the black man. You think that's wrong? Well, it's the Sunnis. They're 1,400 years. And they're still telling you. They're not coming after Quran. They're not coming after Prophet Muhammad. 1,400 years later, they're still saying that. 1,400 years, and they stuck 1,400 years in the past. They're trying to revive Muhammad's empire. And if we went 1,400 years in the future, you would find these Sunnis doing this. These people that claim to be followers of Muhammad saying the same thing. Unless the black man's it. Nobody after Elijah Muhammad. See how stupid that is? People say the same thing about the prophet Jesus. The same thing about Abraham. I mean, when does it stop? When does ignorance stop? Time moves on. We get new revelations. Elijah Muhammad tells you that the scientists write future history every 25,000 years. And then they put it in a book, and the volumes, different volumes for different period of time of that book, with different chapters of that book as the time passes. So every time a particular time come up for that particular chapter, that chapter is revealed. So and that process never stops. So how the hell are you going to tell me you're going to latch on to one book and say, that's it, ain't no more after that? And he done told you to keep on going forever. Every 25,000 years they do it. That means it's going to constantly be changes. Why would they, if things not changing, why they keep writing history and keep giving you books? Because you got to keep learning. You got to keep moving on to the future. The disbelievers, they stuck in the past, so they're disbelievers. And what happens to disbelievers? They always get burned up because, I mean, what keep them around for? This is easy stuff, but for disbelievers, it's very difficult. See, because there's all kinds of reasons why they can't move on. Some of them just idiots, right? See, some of them just proud. They don't, because they mastered one book, or they think they've mastered it, and then now they're the big shot. And then here you come along, and now they're not the big shot anymore. See, because now you listen to someone else. That's the problem that Prophet Jesus had 2,000 years ago. Because all the rabbis and everything, they had it. So if he was right, they weren't rabbis anymore. They had to go to his school and set up under him and relearn everything. And they was walking around big shots. I got a PhD in the book of Genesis. I got, And then he comes along and all of a sudden, bam, they're nothing. You understand? They don't want that. Because now they got to sit down and be students all over, and then they might not be as good as students as everybody else. So they lose everything they have. Because they was big shot, people was admiring them, and they had all this and all that and everything, right? And all this famous and celebrity and everything. And all of a sudden that's gone because someone else comes along with something, and so they're always going to resist it. You have, this person called Einstein, the same problem with him. Because when he came up with a new idea of physics, they resist him not because what he was saying was wrong. They resist him because if he was right, that means everything they study about physics, they'd have to stop and study under him. That means that bigger PhD they had on there didn't mean anything anymore. Same thing with Galileo. We talking about European history. When he came in, he had a telescope. All he had to do was look through a telescope to see that the Earth was traveling around the sun. Just had to look. They wouldn't look. They would not look. I ain't looking through that thing. And they put his ass in jail. He spent the rest of his life in prison. All he had to do was look through a telescope. Because if he was right, that means the Pope and all of them been wrong. So they wouldn't even look. I ain't even look. Why had just look? See? So that's part of the reason why you have this type of thing. So what happened? Galileo went out right. Because the Pope was supreme being in Europe during that time, right? Where is he now? See? Because they got locked Galileo, but the people that came after him, right? Bam. And then the next day, separate between church and state, and they put the church down. They broke away from the Catholic Church. Now it's subordinate to the math and science that Galileo was trying to tell them about. Now the math and science rules, not the Pope. See? So that's the kind of situation we have here. So you got, they're jealous, right? They're stubborn. Stubbornness, nothing wrong with stubbornness. When in the right direction. All the prophets, all the messengers were stubborn. They said Suleiman would be the most stubborn of all. They said his people heads were like stones. They said he was head were like flintstones would break stones down. You understand? So stubbornness is not a bad thing, because all the prophets and messengers, they had to be stubborn. Because they had to come in and they weren't backing off. They didn't back down. See? They had to be stubborn. That had to be part of their nature. That's what God looks in. When he chooses a messenger or prophet, he looks for somebody that's stubborn. And then he puts some knowledge on their head, so they use that stubbornness in the right direction. You see? You don't want anybody that's going to compromise all that kind of stuff, because you don't compromise truth. So who will win the war of Armageddon? See? Because we're at war. We've been at war for 50,000 years. Now we're coming to the climax, we're coming to the final battle. See? We've been in defensive mode. Now we're about to strike back. See, at our choosing. We pick our time and our choosing. See? So they thought they was in control. But the Quran tells you Allah is always in control. We've been in control of this affair from the very beginning. We allowed us. We didn't have to be in this situation. We could stop Dr. Yaqub. We could stop all that. We allowed this to happen. We're not out of control, brothers and sisters. We're not out of control. We still have control. You understand? Even though most of us don't realize it. Because our God, he's in control. So we as a nation, we still under control. We still have control. We never lost control of this planet. See? We never lost control. And they're going to find out pretty soon. See? They thought they was in control, as the Quran tells you. They thought they had control. Like it says, they thought they was making goodly manufacture. They thought all this stuff they're doing is great stuff. And they thought America's the most powerful country in human history. Well, it's the most powerful country in mankind history since Dr. Yaqub. I might give them that. See? But they're nothing compared to us. I mean, tell me a star they made. Tell me a plant they made. Tell me one organism. Oh, yeah, they modifying stuff, right? And making plagues and stuff. But tell me what tree they made. They made from nothing, not something they grafted from something else. See, tell me. See? That's part of this whole thing about Dr. Buddha to take you away from your creation, so you can't argue that you did that. Because if you can argue that you did that, prove you do that, there'd be nothing. I mean, they'll argue, they would have no argument. I mean, that's it. I mean, if it was known fact that we the creators, no matter what condition we're in right now, even if we was in the most abject condition as we were back in the field, if it's known fact, man, you mean those niggas, think about it, those niggas, man, you mean they made the stars out there? And they made the planet? And those niggas in it? See? They might have us in subjection, but they still, they look around what they got, they say, this ain't nothing. You know, it's like, here you drive around with your, you understand, your BMW. Oh man, you're styling, right? You're styling, right? And you got it. You got it going on. Then this dude fly by you, man, with Lamborghini. All of a sudden, man, you crawl up, man. Cause woo. See, because you ain't got nothing compared to that. See, so in other words, because you was now, you know, you was in the hood with your BMW, man. You was the shit, right? Because everybody was driving around right in their little Maximas and Volkswagen Beetles. But you a BMW, man. You styling. Then this dude roll up, man. Right? He may be crippled and crazy, right? But he roll up his Lamborghini. All of a sudden, man, you ready to go home and put your BMW up. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, that's why that's part of the war that separates from creation, because that's why I say there's some mystery gods and all this and everything else. Because when the fact is that when it's proven and shown that we did that, that means they have they have nothing. They see themselves as the beast they are. They haven't done anything. Because this stuff is really remarkable if you compare it to nothing. See? Because this is remarkable. If you compare it to 100 years ago or 2,000 years ago, whatever, this is remarkable. But if you compare it to the science that took it, made the galaxies and the constellations, right? This is nothing. This is garbage. That's why they don't want to. They know who those smaller fraud planes are. Elijah Papa told them. They took all the information. They know what that they are, but they can't say it because they'll again be saying, "That's them niggas." See, because Farah's one of us. That's their technology. And if they got that, man, because right, see, they boasted, we're the greatest country in the world. Nobody ever beat us, man. We're the greatest humankind, man. No power, you know, all this stuff. But then, if you see once you see one of those things, all these Sabre jets and all this F-15s and all this means nothing. It's like, you know, you driving my Lamborghini and they got a horse and buggy. You see? So they can't say that because they see it's there. They recognize it now. They finally admitting they did. They knew it for, but they didn't want to hide it from people because it was hard to say. You understand? They admit it was there because it did. That means all this fantastic stuff they got is nothing because they can't even come close to that. They don't know what it does. Their science and everything is so inferior, right, to that. They have nothing to even compare to it. Not even close. Understand these things, brothers and sisters. So we're gonna move on. We already won. The war of Armageddon was won before it started. See, if you read what's that, The Art of War, right? That's a good book that you brothers and sisters should read, especially your warrior sisters, right? But your brothers, because we're going to war. I mean, we at war anyway. Right now it's mentally, but we're gonna be physical war before it's long, because they're gonna force it on us. And so you need to have some idea how. And you can go online and get it. I can get a free copy or you buy a copy, right? Because then the one thing says the war is won before it starts. You see? So you have to know what you're doing. You understand? So we wrote about this war before our enemies even existed. So how in the hell could they defeat us? If we wrote about them before they even existed, we could have stopped him. We could stop Dr. Yakub in his tracks. We could have aborted him in birth canal. We don't have to let this happen. We saw it clearly. And like Elijah Muhammad said, Farad, he said he sees the way clearly. All the way to the end, he sees it clearly. See? And once you start understanding the angel, you see it clearly also. But we're going to talk about interreactions, brothers and sisters. So let's move on. And again, I always remind you, I'm the bearer of good news, brothers and sisters. This is what they're trying to stop them coming in. They're stopping our woman to be exalted to her proper place, the goddess of the universe, the mother of all civilization. They're trying to stop this world coming in, this biological world, right? They're trying to put it into it because this is our world that we made. They don't understand it. They're corrupting it. So we're going to, it says, Allah will destroy those who are destroying the planet Earth. When they corrupt it, they can't help it because, they can't help it because they don't understand it. The analytical mind does not understand the spatial. We kept the analytical mind under control trillions of years, but now it's out, it's unbound. And it's destroying everything because it doesn't understand it. See, so we have to get rid of them because they're a burden to the earth, as the Quran tells you. See, so we're going to restore the earth, right, back to its original splendor. And then we're going to start, that's going to be our basis. And then we're going to make all things new from there. But that's our base we're going to start from. The animals are going to be healthy. They're not going to be afraid of us anymore. We're not going to be eating them anymore. See? It's not going to be any pollution, no disease, right? No bad weather, anything. It's going to be paradise. Now, how can you make paradise better? That's what we're about. See, we make paradise and we make paradise better. They have to come a new name. Because if this was paradise, they have to come a new name for what we're going to do. That's why I say make all things new. Say you can't even imagine it. Now, sisters, they're going to be where they're supposed to be, on top of civilization. Without them, none of us would exist. See? She won't be in danger or insecure, unhappy, ever again, ever, under any circumstance. Not even the thought. See, when you get in hereafter, see, a lot of words because it results of people's experience. That's why I have all these different languages. Because when people moved away from each other, right? If you went to move to the North Pole, you have a different experience than somebody in Africa, so you had to develop new words. I mean, a lot of your language is going to be centered around cold. It's going to be emphasis in that type of way, right? You see, where in Africa, the emphasis will be more in warm and more calm, more secure, because you're not, right? Because you're not in danger of freezing to death and all that kind of stuff. So you have to critical, like for instance, if you're in a situation where you're under attack by animals all the time, right? Then it's the way you construct your language based on that. Because what you want to do is you want to say, "Here comes a bear." You don't want to say it like that. Because by the time you get to the bear part, it's too late. You want to say, "Bear, here it comes." You see what I'm saying? You want to get the subject first. You see? So you want to change it. But somebody in Africa says, "Oh, see, you have a different," because he's not under that kind of exposure, so he can be relaxed about that. So, oh man, there's some lions. That depends on if you not under threat of lions. See, where they tell us we were, which we weren't. So here we are. We're supposed to be jungle people living out in the jungle with those not, and you got all these wild animals, lions, tigers, elephants, all this stuff, and we had villages and villages and all that kind of stuff, and we were surviving all of that. That'll tell you something wrong with that picture right there. Because if we was that ass and everything, then we should have been running. We shouldn't have no villages or anything. We should have been running, sleeping up in trees like the monkeys, hiding from tigers and lions and stuff. They wasn't bothering us because we had control of the situation. And we're right in the middle of all of that, jungles and everything else, so they say. But language, as people move apart, language, because you know, like mother and father, that's almost a universal word. Papa, mama, abba, umi, it's almost a universal word. You understand? It just has very small variation because it's pretty common. So that's why language, so if people experience and further to stay with each other, then that, you know, because certain words, like you got a lot of words about ice and stuff. Well, you don't have that. You don't have words like, you don't need words like that in Africa. Maybe you might want a piece of ice or something, but that's not going to be the primary part of your language. So you're going to drift away from those type of words. That's not going to be part of your vocabulary. So that's going to be a big part of the vocabulary in Eskimo. That's going to be a big part of their vocabulary. You see? So over time, hundred years, right? It gets more and more defined. The language is more and more defined to deal with that environment. So there you got different languages. That's how that happens. See? So the thing is that even the Arabic that we will speak, because we're going back to Arabic, it's going to be more beautiful than Arabic they speak now. Because the Arabic speak right now is mostly, because you got a lot of different forms of Arabic, it's mostly deal with the type of situation most that the Sunnis and everything dealing with right now, the people that speak Arabic. But we're gonna be in paradise. So our words, we won't have, there would be no word for pain, because nobody will have pain. There'd be no pain for sorrow. There's no word for sorrow, because no one has sorrow. You know, before 50,000 years ago, we never had a word for sorrow, because nobody ever, you know, we didn't have a word for sleep. We might have something for children that were sleeping, they were small, but for us, it wasn't like it is now. No. So those words are going to go away. See, we have a whole different vocabulary. It still be Arabic, but it's more emphasis on certain words and everything. There'll be new words, because if we call this paradise, and this is just the beginning, what you gonna call when it gets better than that? Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Let's move on. Again, we had the two visions. See, not going to spend a lot of time with this, but both have the same vision. But the thing you're missing here is that that's reality for the one on the right. That's ours. That's reality. On the left, right? That's a electronic vision, like on movie or TV, like a dream. Because the earth won't be like that. That'd be just where they see it. Like going into a movie theater and you in there, and so now you see it, but that's not where the reality's outside. But if you believe that's where it is on, then you know. So if you can put that in your mind or a dream, because like you can have a dream and you know that's not real, but you can think that's real, and that's part of what they're trying to do. They want to bring this in, but it's going to be electronic. See, it's not going to be real, because they're going to get rid of they're going to nuclear war, and they know of nuclear war, no biological life will survive. That's why it says what it says. It said, if those days were not short, no flesh will be left alive. That means they plan on, it was telling you, they plan on getting rid of all flesh, except for this cyborg here, which is a mechanical body with a biological brain. Because that's the only world they can rule in. And once they got to agree with us, because they know both of us cannot coexist. Because they're already destroying this biological world. They're already destroying it. They're telling you right now, oh, with global warming, people may not be able to live 20 years from now in the whole world. You know, no one will be able to live. The pollution, everything be so bad and everything else. But they're the ones doing that. Okay, brothers and sisters. So, but we're going to bring it, but this is going to be real reality for us. It'd be real, it'd be, you know, actual. Them, it'd just be, you know, like watching TV or something. But to them, it'd be just a real, this is to us like walking a dream. You, brothers and sisters, you have no idea what these people are doing. This their vision. We're not going to waste time with it. And this is ours. There's electronic, ours biological. Okay. What I want to do here, brothers and sisters, is this. Now we're going to talk about interactions. I want you to notice this right here. Now I've been saying we walk on a tightrope. right? We're walking a tightrope. Okay. That's where we're living right now. That's what the angel tells us, right? The Daniel calls it a furnace. Angel calls it a tightrope, right? That we're walking. Most of us falling off because we don't know how to walk it. We wake up, wake up one morning, find ourselves on a tightrope, 400-mile tightrope between one bill and another one, and we on it. And then we find out that, and we also find out that we like 40 stories up in the sky. If we fall off, right, we're gonna fall off to our death. And then that's when we wake up. Oh, what you gonna do? That's the situation we've been in 400 years. Walking tightrope. Walking right talk, walking tightrope through America. No, or the other way looking at it, walking through this fiery furnace without being burnt up. Going tightrope without falling. Look at it from two different perspectives. But I want to talk about this perspective for a moment, because what's happening here is that this person walked tightrope, but they got somebody on their back. Now, why do you need that? I mean, it's wide enough walking a tightrope, but now you got to carry somebody on your back. See, who needs that? See, you're trying to walk this fiery furnace, right? And then you got somebody else, right? You got to carry them. It's hot enough and heavy enough, and then you got to carry them too. See, no, but who wants that? See, so let's keep that in mind. Consequence, the first mathematical pillar of Islam. Let me see something here, brothers and sisters. Make sure I got this right here. Okay, let me see something, brothers and sisters. I got a little error here. Okay, hold on, brothers and sisters. I pulled up the wrong presentation here. Let me get the correct one. There it is. Okay. Okay, well, just got the right one now. Okay. Wait 1 second here. Okay, there you go. Okay, brothers and sisters. We're going to talk about interactions here, and we're going to talk about it from both aspects, I guess, from being in a fiery furnace, because that's the Daniel aspect of it. I talked about that recently, about Daniel and about the gold, the silver, the bronze, and the iron, right? So we're going to talk about from that point of view too. But let's move on. Now, consequence. How does that, what does that do with interactions? Well, consequence, again, right? Because that's the first, consequence is the fundamental principle. All other pillars rest on that one, consequence. So we have to have faith in consequence, justice, faith that we will get justice, that God, right? Because everything is mathematics. So you have faith in consequence. That's what because we said, well, you have faith in God. God do what? You can look at that way too, right? Do what? Justice, consequence. That you reap what you sowed. You be rewarded for doing good things, be punished for doing bad things. See, that's what when they say, well, you believe in God to do what? It's faith, right? Based on faith is tethered to facts. Belief is not tethered to facts. Faith is like experience, like I always use experience about putting a pot of water on the stove, right? You know from experience, if you put heat under it, it's going to eventually boil. That's faith. It's best tethered to facts or an experience, which is a fact. Experiences are facts. Experiences are facts. Well, experience, if experience is not a fact, then what else is a fact? What is a fact? But a belief is saying, well, that pot, it won't boil, or the water in there is going to turn to black gold, oil, so you can make money or whatever. You understand? So I mean that may happen, but it's not based on any facts. So what happens here? So remember interacting with other people. So when people have that understanding, see, when they have that faith consequence, then you can relate to them. You see, because you may have some, I wouldn't call it disagreement, but you may be partial to 12 being 5 plus 7. They may be partial to 12 is 6 plus 6. But you're both going to agree that it's 12. It's just a matter of perspective. I like green, and I like green, you like gold. I like chocolate cake, you like vanilla cake. See? Still cake. You agree that it's a cake. But we have different, so we understand that. We understand that we're going to have different perspectives, right? Different tastes. But we're not going to disagree on the fact. That's the important part here. See? So first you got to start there. Because if a person don't believe in consequence, right? Then this is what's going to happen. Religion. See, it takes you off of mathematics, and it doesn't believe in consequence. Not directly, because you can avoid consequence if you taking sacrifice to the God, or in crazy Christianity. If you just believe in Jesus, you can do all the crap you want, right? But all you got to do is go to the priest and say, I confess, and then you're forgiven. I mean, so where's the consequence? So it's not really tied to real consequence, because you're saying you can forgive all that stuff you've done, so there's no consequence. All you had to do is just say that wipes it away, which is BS. So what about mercy? No, mercy doesn't have you escape consequence. Let me give an example. They always tell you when you get mercy, repent, don't do it anymore. But mercy is a situation where you go out and you steal something. Okay? You steal $1,000. And then bam, you get in a car accident right away, and of course your $1,000 right medical bill. No mercy there, consequence, you pay right in a minute. But what if you don't pay for it right then? At least you don't think you pay for it right then. So what happens is, instead that happens, right? Well, okay, you lost your job. See? So other things happen. So then you get your job back in a week or 2 weeks, whatever. Well, there was a mercy there. How is that mercy? Because it wasn't fatal. You had time to correct your actions. See, you had time to go back and give somebody that $1,000 back. It's just a time difference. You had time to correct it before it became fatal. That's what mercy is, giving you time to correct your action. So now that's why you got to repent and go back and do, correct it. When you understand mercy, that's what it is. It's not that it just goes away. You see, because nothing ever goes away. The Quran tells you that every atom you have to call account to. So how in the world is that you have to give account for every atom? Every atom's weight, no matter. Mercy is just giving you time to correct it before it becomes fatal. To start doing good deeds, right? To overcome the bad deeds. So in religion, it's confusion, no accountability. Oh, accountability is spelled wrong. So we leave it. There's no accountability. See? So, and they always blame others. They never take accountability for what they've done. They're always blaming other people. That's what you can find. It's always other people. Or they say things like, oh, well, that's God's will. Or that was meant to happen. All that's not taking accountability. They're blaming someone else. They're blaming God in one case, right? Or that was meant to happen, fate. See, that's a hallmark in Sunnism. See, or it was Allah's will. It would be the will of Allah. Sounds great. That means you take no accountability. So you can't deal with people like that. Because they don't keep on doing what they're doing, and they're always going to blame someone else. It's like when you take and borrow money. See, when someone owes you money, you become very logical. But when you owe them money, all of a sudden, you don't become so logical. It's get confusing at that point. See? So when you interact with others, if they're not dealing with consequence, then you can have a problem dealing with these people. That'll take accountability. So you can't trust them. Their word means nothing. Their word means nothing. Because, oh, well, it was God's will. Oh, they got excuses. That's what you're going to get from these people. That's what you get from them. Every Christian out there, that's what you're going to get. See? One first thing Elijah Muhammad told you, right? Your word is bond. And, your word is bond. Make your word bond. And bond is life. And you give your life before your word will fail. Word is bond. Bond is life. And you give your life before your word will fail. Anyone knows me. When I say something, I do it. No matter what. I make no excuses. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. No excuses. The only possible excuse is that, right, they lock me down. I just can't do it. It's impossible, right? Or I'm dead. See? If they got me locked down, I'm going to find a way to do it. So that's the kind of relationship you can have with that type person. So there's no accountability. And they're never going to correct themselves. You see, because they're never going to correct themselves because, hey, it's on Jesus, it's on whatever. They're not going to correct themselves. They're not going to purify themselves. So Allah loves those who purify themselves. These people are not going to purify themselves because there's no accountability. Because first, before you can purify yourself, you have to accept responsibility that something's wrong with you. But no, it's Jesus or God made me that way or whatever. Because once a person makes excuses, they're never going to correct themselves. So you're dealing with somebody, right, that's just, you're never going to be able to depend on them. You can't trust them. See? And so do you want to be that type of person? Because if you're that type of person, like no one can trust those that are doing this. First of all, if you're that type of person, you can't trust each other. Because the Christians, they can't trust each other because they know how they are. It's going to be on Jesus, somebody. But the people that's doing this, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to bother with you. So you're always going to be around people, right, that you can't trust. They can't trust you. That's not dependable. So you're going to be paranoid everything around these people. You can't trust them. And you can't trust anybody. You really can't love them, can you? You can't depend on them. You see what I'm saying? This is interreactions. So we got to look at it from that point of view. See? So once you stay on the left side of your consequence, then you're trusted. You're dependent. And even the Christians, they know they can depend on you. But they know you can't depend on them. They know you don't keep your word because you're going to be accountable. You're going to do what you say. So you're going to be upright. Think about that, brothers and sisters, and interreactions. Because if you stay on the left here, you're going to meet more people like yourself eventually. And then you're going to be in a bad situation, right? Because now, if you find a spouse like that, then that's the best joy in your life. If you that way and they that way, that means you're both going to have a happy life together because they're taking accountability. They're going to grow together. They're going to purify themselves together. The love, because love, dependency, when you can depend on someone and you trust someone, that's the base of love. See? You don't love somebody you can't think you love them. You can't depend on, you can't trust. You have no idea what they're going to do in a situation. If something comes up, they turn on you, and you're in love with that. You think so? That's not love. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one. See? So the first one, right? You have to have faith in consequence. That means you take accountability because you know your actions you're going to pay for your actions. Now, no one else is going to do it. Right? So here you got Torah. You see? So what's this all about? Okay. In this case, this is deal with emotionalism. See? Getting right to the heart. So people are not doing this. They're going to be emotional. You guys knew all these terms, bipolar and all this stuff. See? Let's get back to what I talked about initially, but a man carrying someone on their back doing tightrope. You got to make yourself light as a feather. No, think about it. If you was carrying around a feather all around, that wouldn't even bother you. You can't. Maybe 2 or 3 feathers. You wouldn't bother you. A feather, man, I got a feather in my pocket, man. You wouldn't even notice it's there. But if you're carrying 100 pounds on your back all the time, man, you said, man, that's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable. See? So, and I'm cutting the chase. I'm going to talk about it a little more later. But when you find a person that's not doing these 5 pillars here, they're like that 100-pound thing you carrying, maybe 1,000 pounds, because you're carrying their weight. Because you got to deal with their emotionalism. You got to deal, right, with their failure to take accountability for anything. So that means they're weight on you. They weight on your mind. You can't trust them. You don't know what they're going to do. In this case, the emotional weight. So you got to deal with their emotion and stuff. You got to carry it because they can't handle it. So that means you got to carry. They can't carry their own emotional weights. So now you got to carry it because that's what emotionalism is all about. They can't control their emotions. So that means you got to carry it. You got to carry it. If you're in a relationship with somebody emotional, you got to constantly deal with their emotions all the time because they can't control them. Who wants that? That's not going to last long. Eventually, you're going to get tired of that. They're going to do all these emotional things, all that kind of stuff. So, well, women are more emotional. Yeah, women do tend to be more emotional than men. Right? And we accept that up to a degree. But if it's totally out of control, nobody wants to deal with that. If they're not doing this, it's totally out of control. You see? So when because if they're doing this, they're gonna bring it's like a man. He goes out there. A woman goes to the gym. A man they lift weights. The man's easier for him because he's just acting out normally, built stronger. A woman, she gonna have a little hard time because she have less muscle, right? Well, same thing in motion. The man has a stronger heart because heart's a muscle. That's where it is. I mean, he has more muscle. Heart's a muscle also. So he has a stronger muscle. So he tends to be less emotional than a woman. But that don't mean she can't achieve it. See, she has to work a little harder. But we accept. See. Remember I said interactions. Some of them are fatal. Some are mild. Some acceptable. We accept. We accept a certain degree of emotions women because we accept and we want it. We appreciate it because she needs that, right, to handle children. She needs that to deal with us. So some of it we expect and we appreciate it. We want to see that. See, but when it gets to beyond the limit, out of control, then we don't want that. And women don't want that in man either. She don't want the man's out of control of his emotions. And a man, I mean, I'm not putting it on women because a man's not doing. He's emotional also. So I mean, she got to carry his emotional burden. I'm not just putting on the females. They got to carry your emotional burden because you're emotional. Now they got to deal with that. Oh, why are you upset? See, what's wrong with you? All this stuff. What's wrong with you today? Why are you acting like that? What you upset about? You see, who wants to deal with that? See, so they're not doing this emotionalism. See, so they're not light as a feather. They're like a ton around your neck, on your back. So you got to deal with this all the time. See, and they're trying to deal with alcohol and drugs and all that kind of stuff. So that's even worse. It just makes the matter worse. When they all zonked out and everything else, acting a fool, coming in drunk and all that kind of stuff, that's even worse than emotionalism. And you got to deal with that. And you don't want to deal with that. And if you're emotional, then you got a chemistry lab going. There's going to be an explosion. If you're emotional, there's going to be an explosion. Why you got so much divorce and stuff going in this country? Party reason. So that means but that's what I'm saying. So you do this, right? Then you removing that emotionalism out the situation. And if both of you are doing it, then you get down to an intolerable level, and then you're happy because you accept it. Because I mean, laughter, that's part of emotion. So it's, I mean, all emotion ain't bad. We accept some of it. See, but arguing and fighting, arguing and mad and upset all the time and all that stuff, right? But if you're happy and you're smiling and stuff like those emotions are acceptable. We want those emotions, but we don't want the other emotions. You're upset all the time. You walk around mean all the time, fussing all the time, hollering, screaming all the time. Out of nowhere, you never know when it's gonna come. One day, you walk around every day. Next day, you got your lips all out. What's wrong with you, baby? I ain't gonna tell you. See, what you mean? First of all, I ain't gonna ask. I'm beyond that. But if I ask and I say, what's wrong? I ain't gonna tell you. Well, okay, well, I don't want to know then. See, because then they're pulling you in. They're pulling you in. See, this is the kind of stuff we're suffering as a people. Because we don't know who our nature. See, when you know your nature, it's like birds have nature. They know what to do, right, to protect their nature. But we've been taken out of our nature and given us a false nature, right? That's not our nature by our enemy, because that's his nature. See, he remember, they're cars just like we're cars. If we put that term, we might be a Lamborghini, it might be a Volkswagen Beetle, a stripped down version, but it's still a car. It still has the same functions. It's just not as good. But it still has the same function as You still need to drive it. You still need to put gears. You still need the four wheels, right? So they have corresponding, right? The five pillars, right? They have five pillars, but their pillars not mathematical. See, because they're stripped down version. So they answer to the emotional factor, because remember, they're emotional too. We are emotional, we have hearts, we have brains, they have brains. So the answer to consequence is, hey, religion, Jesus did it. The devil made me do it. Right? That's the answer. Because they still have the same, they have the same function we have. It's just their stripped down version. So they have emotions too, they have heart. So instead of doing this, their answer is alcohol, drugs. Because they still got to deal with that a heart. They got a heart, they got to deal with it. They got a brain, they got to deal with it. So they won't take accountability. They don't want to, firm their heart. So they don't want to do this. And so if that's what I'm saying, so if you're not doing this, then you deal with somebody over here on the right. And so that's carrying a burden around. So now you're carrying, right? You got the first one, you're carrying around 1,000 pounds on the first one. Consequence, they ain't taking accountability for nothing. They got an excuse for everything. You met these people, they got an excuse for everything. Excuse for everything. So I mean, I always told my kids growing up, and most of them listen to me, right? But I said, if you make an excuse, and I tell their mother, if you let them make an excuse, they're never going to grow. Excuse allows you to continue being the same old wreck you are. If you see my excuse, that means it's not going to change. They either see themselves being perfect, or it's just too lazy, or they don't want to change, or whatever. If they make an excuse, that's what you make excuses. I mean, you ain't going to change. I don't make excuses. You ever see me make excuses? I see a problem, I get on it. And even when somebody come and tell me there might be an enemy, there might be somebody who don't like me, they come and say something negative to me about myself. My first reaction is it true? Because remember, they see me from an angle I don't see myself. It doesn't matter who they are. Is it true? That's my first. Because if it is, I'm going to correct it. I don't care if the enemy, they laugh me, don't like me, whatever. Most people's reaction is, why are you saying that? See, because they won't take accountability. Because they can understand other people see from other perspective. And sometimes I appreciate that, right? Because now they see something, that I can correct something that I didn't see myself. Because you can't see yourself totally. You don't see much, or a lot of yourself you don't see. Because remember, it ain't you in this world by yourself. You're in the world with everybody else. So what they see is almost as important as what you see. You see? You have to take that into account if you're going to deal with people. So if you're walking around stinking, just because you don't smell it, because you get used to the smell, that means they ain't smelling it. So now all of a sudden nobody's around you. Can't stand. How come nobody's around me? Because you're stinking. And then when I come and tell you, hey man, you stink. Man, where'd you come? Why you say that? You want to? I'll kick your ass and tell me I'm stinking. See, that's the attitude we have. You should be saying, oh man, what, really? And go and take a bath. Some people start coming around you again. Don't care who told you that. You should know sometimes your best friend is your worst friend. Because they won't tell you got bad breath. They won't tell you stinking, all that kind of stuff. They won't hurt your feelings, but they are hurting you. I remember I used to have a contracting business, right? And I was working at AT&T up in New Jersey. And there was this guy, he couldn't hear, right? And the person I was working, we was sharing a cubicle together. He was really good friends with this guy. He was a contractor too. And so when the guy would come downstairs, he'd be talking loud. I mean, like him across the floor. But he didn't know that he was talking loud like that. And I told his friend, I says, why don't you tell him? Oh man, I don't want to offend him. I said, yeah, but you're his friend, man. I know he doesn't know that he's saying so loud. I know he doesn't know that. He wouldn't tell him. He wouldn't tell him. He refused to tell him. So he wasn't even that guy's friend. Because he should have told the guy, and then the guys would figure out how to modulate his voice. Because he liked screaming. Because he couldn't hear himself. See? So when somebody come and tell you something, first check it out. Be objective and see, Is it right or wrong? Now, if you want to kick their behind, you find they telling you something just to offend you. If you want to kick, first find out, check is right or wrong. Then go and think about kicking their behind. But first find out what's right or wrong. That's if you taking accountability. See. So if you're dealing with that kind of person, you're dealing with an emotional person. That's a lot of baggage, and sometimes it can be just too much. Me, it's very difficult for me because I can't stand being around emotional people. You see, I just don't want to carry that baggage. Now, if they taking and doing this and they working on it, yeah. But if they trying, but they just emote totally out of, I don't waste time with that because I know it's not going anywhere. Or it's just good me off, because all that emotionalism, right? Remember, it's affecting your heart too. So now you got to work hard to keep your heart under control. See? Like if you work in a coal mine, right? That means you got to wash often, more often, right, to get the coal off of you. So if you're not emotional people, right? Because remember, you doing this here work to keep your heart under control, right? Firm, protect you from emotions. But now you deal with emotional people. That means it's harder for you to do that now because your heart's picking all their emotions. So that means you got more work to do. It's harder. That's what I tell you. All this connects together. You picking up the emotion from everybody's heart. And if yours is emotional, man, you're going to be an emotional wreck. I see it. I know people, they're totally emotional wreck and they should know better because they don't know this. And even some of you tell them they don't listen. They knew this. So even me making my slide at least an hour a day, right? Still no, right? I'm protected from most emotion, but I'm really a real emotional person. They're going to bug me a little bit. I'm protected for it, but I'm not going to stick around long enough for it to penetrate. When these people come in on here and they start this emotional thing, on Facebook and everything, I just block them. Got time for that. I'm not going to deal with that. Now, if you come in that way because that's the way you are, but you're trying to, you come to the gym, right? You come to the gym and start, okay, oh, you obese now. Say, yeah, okay, I can work with you because I know you're trying to get that under control. But if you just come in here, ain't gonna lift no weight, just run around, you understand, getting everybody's weight, man, I'm with you. So because a lot of people are emotional because they don't understand this. So they're taking drugs, this America's full of drugs. Why I tell you, Angel, they call this pharmaceutical sorcery, which is pharmaceuticals. They try to clip the word because that's what they're using it. All kinds of drugs and everything else. Try to calm their emotions. It doesn't calm it. It just covers it up. And a lot of times of course, it makes it even worse because then it blows up out of nowhere. You think the person under control, so boom, they just blow up. They're out there killing somebody, shooting people and stuff, or whatever. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's what they get away. Do not stand up. How that thing go? Bless those who now stand where sinners, walk the counsel of God, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm telling you. You stay away from those people, religion, unless they trying to get, you tell them if they trying to, get mathematically orientated, yeah. But if they stuck religion, hey, you don't need that. But they had, because you argue with them and carrying on, you'll get your mind all messed up, right? If they insist on being emotional and they don't want to, you're trying to teach them about the 5 pillars and they don't want to, they want to keep, then you need to get away from it. Otherwise, you're jeopardizing yourself. See? Because now they're putting an emotional burden on you. That's harder for you because now you got to make more slots than you was making before to compensate for their emotions. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Now, here we go. Currents. See, let's deal with balance. Currents. Force differential. Those who have more give those who have less to keep the current, keep revolution, all that kind of stuff down, right? To keep all the because atmospherics, weather is also currents. Keep all the lightning and thunderstorms out of your life. Some people call it bad luck. All the troubles, all the stuff that you deal with every day. See, tornadoes and hurricanes, and that's what this is all about here. Because you take more than you're supposed to have. Everybody has the same amount of energy. You take more than you have to have. You start building. You have a current differential, so you start building all kinds of bad weather in your life, all kinds of disasters, hurricanes and tornadoes and lightning storms and thunders and all that kind of stuff, all kinds of troubles. Winds blowing at you, trying to blow you over, because you're creating those yourself. See? Now, some people want that. I mean, I want to be a millionaire. What's that song? I wanted to be a millionaire so bad, right? Or billionaire, whatever it is, right? Okay, so he wants that $1,000,000. He's prepared to deal with those currencies that's gonna come, because they're coming. Because everybody's supposed to have $1,000, so everybody's supposed to have $100,000, and you want a million, 10 times more than everybody else. You got 10 times the trouble. You see, so now you got that $1,000,000. You got all kinds of currency. You got all kinds of negative. You got negative luck in your life. All kinds of currency stuff coming up. Accidents and problems and all kinds of stuff you're going to deal with because you want that $1,000,000. They said he wanted it so bad. You can do that. You want to be a billionaire, you can go out and be a billionaire if you're prepared to deal with all the consequences that come with it. Remember consequence? You can do it. You get I gave you the wisdom to do it. But you got to understand the consequences come with it. Because you're going to get $1,000,000. You got $900,000 more than anybody else have. So now you got $900,000 worth of bad luck coming your way. All around you. So now you got to figure out how to manage it. You don't want it to be a cancer or tumor, so you definitely got to make sure you live a very healthy life, so don't come the other way, right? See? You want to come to your family. See? You're going to have security guards, so nobody knock you upside the head, right? You're going to stop driving so you don't have an accident. You're going to avoid airplanes. This is what happens, capitalism. See, you deal with a person like that, always trouble, always problems, accident prone. Every time I look, they're in trouble about something. You got to deal with it. Oh man, bail me out. I need the boss. I need this, help you with this, right? Oh man, I'm in trouble. See, please knock on the door. You see, somebody robbing their house. Always trouble with these people. See, always a problem. Nobody wants to be with anybody like that. You see? But if you live in, that's what it says, spend out what we have given you. So if you have 1,000, everybody's given $1,000, spend out of that. That's why I say, this book's no doubt in it, right? See, who bleed on the scenes, who spend out what we have given them. Bleeding unseen, keep up prayer, and spend out what we've given them. We just talked about 3 of the things right there. Bleeding unseen, man, you can't see mathematics, but it's visible everywhere. That's the unseen. Believe in consequence. You know it's consequence. You can't see it, but you believe in it. Keep up prayer, salats. Spend out what we've given you. Parents. This is right. 3 of them are right there. Right in order. 3 of them. Believe in unseen, keep up prayer, spend out what we've given you. There's no doubt in it. See? So if you want to go that route and take what more you're supposed to have, okay, then, right? But these people are going out, they're running for money, all this kind of stuff. They went out all this stuff with big cars and all that kind of stuff, and see, they're building these currencies, so now they got all kinds of drama in their life all the time. It's always drama. Drama kings, drama queens, always drama. Hurricanes, lightning. Say, what the hell is that? You don't want to deal with that. You see? And you don't, and nobody wants to deal with you if you like that. So you're carrying this, here you trying to balance yourself, and you carrying this thing, you carry somebody on your back. It's bad enough you trying to walk this tightrope, but now you got this person on your back. You're trying to carry them too. See, and they got all they cause the winds to come, hurricanes come, lightning. They bring all this with them. See, and if you're not doing it, then you bring that to you bring that into the situation. See, you bring that in. But if you're doing this, you're not. See, the more you do it, right, you calm. Nobody wants to deal. See, you light as a feather. Nobody even know you're there. Everybody loves that. See, but if you wait around somebody's neck, nobody wants that. And that's how people are in. Oh man, the police after him. He's in jail, right? He's out there fighting, gang banging. See, he got robbed. See, there's trouble all the time. See, now the Quran says, because what your hands are wrought. See? So this is interaction with other people. So if you like that, nobody will bow with you. And if you're doing the things, then you don't be bound with other people, because that's bringing all the hurricane stuff in your life. And I've been there. See? I had a spouse, boy, nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. Every time I look around, it's trouble, 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 trouble. See? But they claim they was Muslim, they weren't. And so just trouble all the time. Until they got rid of themselves. Emotional drama all the time. Never take any accountability. Wasn't their fault by anything. See, all three of them. See, and before I really had a real strong grip on this, almost drew me to suicide, because I mean, I was like, man, this was driving me crazy. I didn't want to walk out. I gave my word. I got married, I gave my word. I'll keep my word, because that's what Elijah Muhammad taught us. So I said, we death do us part. Unless you walk away, or you agree, right? But I'm not gonna break. I'm not, unless you allow me to break my word. Say, okay, it's okay. We can part. Now, I'm not gonna excuse you from it. I don't even go that far, really. I give my word, I'm gonna keep it. So I gave my word. I stuck with it, and that person put me to grief. That person put me to grief. See, because I didn't understand slots that well at that time. So I was making like a certain. I wasn't doing it for like an amount of time. I was just citing so much of the Quran. But actually, I learned from that experience, because I realized that when you under duress or whatever, in emotions, what you need to do is you need to figure out how much slot you need to deal with that situation. That's what I learned. So now I know an hour a day is enough for me to deal with any situation I have to do right now. But if I came under a lot of more, I know I need increasing. I didn't realize that at the time. I thought, oh, I just make that deal with all situations. No, if you have to take all these different things, right? If the situation warrants it, then you have to take it to the next level. If you get under more pressure, under more tension, you have to up the ante. Like when they had me locked down in Guam, right? I had to go on 30-day fast. I never 30-day fast before, because that's what I needed to do to deal with that situation, because these people were trying to put me away forever. So I upped everything. I went into spiritual battle, and I won. See? So that was a bad experience, but the only real bad experience is when you don't learn things from. So I learned from that person. But they put me to grief. That person put me to grief. And I wasn't going to walk out. See? But I learned, and when I started making more slots, right? And the person found out they couldn't get me upset anymore. But they were doing everything to get me upset, right? They got rid of themselves. They walked out. That was the best day of my life. They walked out. So it wasn't, I didn't walk out. But then they try to blame me later. Well, you walked out. You walked out. You walked. You left. You grabbed everything it took and destroyed everything. See, they walked out. So that absolved me of everything because I didn't walk out. I kept my word. You broke yours. That's on you. So I'm just saying. See, number drama, constant drama all the time. Every time I look around, it's a problem. You know, you hear people say that, man, every time, man, when I look around, there's something all the time. Yeah, well, it's maybe because you weren't causing that something. Now, we was back in the fields, we couldn't help it because we was like tightrope. You know, energy deprivation, that means it was going to be hurricanes anyway, no matter what we did, because we couldn't have enough energy to make enough slots to stop it, or make it. We had no money to give anything, right? So we had less. We didn't have anything, so we could do zakat anyway. We give charity anyway. We didn't have anything to give away to try to balance the situation. You see, and we didn't have any knowledge of mathematics or anything, so we just had to, oh, Jesus, please, Jesus, help us. But then when Farah came, right, he started putting us on the path. He put us up, right, showed us how to, right, gave the basics. See? Elijah Muhammad came and tried to comfort us. See? What he did was he took energy that we gave him and gave form to it. That's what gods do. So you gave him money, you gave him your time, your energy, and what he gave you back. Factories, industry, banks, stores, jobs. People get out of prison for parole, right? Restaurants, housing, right? Bam. So you don't mind giving, because who minds giving something if you're getting something back for it? So that's what he was doing. He was taking formlessness and giving it form. He wasn't storing up for himself like they try to tell you in these stupid movies and everything. I was there. I know what he had. He had the empire. He had planes, boats. A lot of people don't know this. But part of the reason why Nixon went over there, because Elijah Muhammad said minister to Japan, because Japan used to, their products was like, if you know about Sears, everybody says Sears sucks, Sears made stuff, nobody. You bought Japanese stuff back in the 70s or whatever, it was like junk. It was junk. Nobody would buy that stuff. It was junk. But Elijah Muhammad sent his men over there, and he set up a trade deal with Japan where the Nation of Islam was going to trade directly with them, like he had did the Bahamas and everything. Right? He said, this is a fact. He was going to trade with them. See, Elijah Muhammad was a world man. So hell with this Farrakhan's beard, he's running his mouth. Elijah Muhammad was taking care of business. When you went to his saviors and things, he went to, well, no, he run his mouth. The first thing you get, hey, the minister be reading off. Well, we got banks, we got another temple, right? We got some car, we got some housing, we got some real estate, we got some farm. Bam, right off. Oh man, he taking care of business, man. Look, I take care of business. See, you don't hear that when Farrakhan, because he don't produce anything, so you don't hear that. Go look at just go look at, they're on the internet, on YouTube, Saves Days, Elijah Muhammad Saves Days. First they started with all his accomplishments. Farrakhan, we couldn't have none. So he was going to do that. And that's why they went over there and Nixon told him, no, you can't deal with the Nation of Islam. And they said they don't deal with them. And that's when Japan starts making better products and stuff. See, but Elijah Muhammad saw it before they did. A lot of people don't know that. That's a fact. There's a lot of stuff they don't know because they wasn't around. That's why I went to Chicago. Right when I came in, nobody brought me in. What brought me in was studying the scripture. I'm not going to that story. But I went when I got my ex. I went when I found Elijah Muhammad was in Chicago. That's why I went, because I wanted to get firsthand knowledge. I didn't want nobody to tell me, well, this would happen. No, I was there from 70 to 75. So I knew exactly what's going on, first-hand knowledge. Okay, so if you're not doing this, then you accident prone, always problem, all that kind of stuff. So that means you're a problem for everybody else. You're a burden to everybody else. See, you want to be light as a feather. You want to be doing so you're not a burden. You don't bring trouble to the situation. You ain't bringing trouble, all this stuff. See, you're not bringing emotionalism. See, you're not bringing unaccountability, blaming everybody for all the stuff. You're not bringing it. See, because a lot of us, that's what we're dealing with. So therefore, it's a bad situation, and we might stick with it, but we're not happy with it. There's no happiness there. Move on, brothers and sisters. 2 more to go. Then energy. See. Now, as far as the energy is concerned, see, that's part of the reason why we end up in slavery, because they want to take advantage of energy. It was late, they took advantage of energy. They want us to do the work. So you meet a person like that, I always want you to do it, they don't want to do anything. So you got to do it all. Your partnership, but they want you to do all the work. They want to sit around and just, but they want you to go to work every day. Then you come home, you got to clean the house. I know you got some of these tacky sisters like that, hey, you come home and you don't work all day, and then you come home, they want you to clean the house and everything else. They don't want to sit around and do nothing, just play with their nails. And you got brothers like that too. Sister go out and work, right? Then she come home and you want her to cook and everything for him. You don't want to do anything. See? Because you don't have any energy. Because if you got energy, you're going to do something. If you got energy, you're not going to, anybody got energy is not lazy. When energy, it wants you to do something. They get some people that are working say, man, I don't feel I'm doing enough. Because they get energy. They want to do something. They got energy. Man, I feel like I need to do something else. See? Because that's the attitude you have. That's the attitude you're going to have. The energy. Because you feel like you ain't doing enough. You want to do more things. See? But if you have energy, you feel like I'm doing too much. Man, I'm tired. I'm tired. See? That's how I know the brothers and sisters, they take care of business, because that's what I'm hearing. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, brother. I said, God, you good? You good? Because, hey, ain't no pressure here. Ain't no compulsion here. This ain't what we about. See, because I'm not trying to take advantage. I'm not like Farrakhan. I want your energy. See? To take care of me. No. I'm applying the 5 pillars of Islam. I'm going to take care of myself. God don't want to be a burden to you. I want you to take care of me. That means you carry me on your back. Like they carry Farrakhan on their back. Who's paying for all this stuff Farrakhan got? They carrying Farrakhan's back. He got the sisters out there pimping. He pimping those sisters out there. They're begging for money. He called fundraisers to keep him in his mansions and everything. He got the sisters out there. He's a pimp. Messi Muhammad never did anything like that. Got a sister out on the street fundraising, begging for money, and you don't see him because his lazy brothers, they ain't doing anything because they don't have no energy. They won't sell. They beg. I used to go over this thing over his study group, and Elijah Muhammad, he told you sell 300 papers a week, or your ass was out of there. If you was F4I, you sold 300. They didn't have MGTL sell anything, and he was supposed to stay home and take care of the children. Elijah Muhammad asked him to do anything. See. But Farrakhan, you do fundraiser stuff, right? But, bro, if you didn't sell 300 papers a week, you was out of there. I'm not talking 299, 250, 300 a week. 300. And plus your job, I had a job, I was working, I was formatting Muhammad Speak newspaper, and I still had 300 papers, 300 papers a week. See? I had energy to do it. See? I didn't know about this 5 pillars, but it was better than what Farad told him. Farad didn't give him the wisdom of this, because that's what it says. It says Abraham, right? It says Abraham prayed, give him the book and the wisdom. Teach him the book and the wisdom. What's the book? Angel. What book talking about? Talking about the Quran? No. And the wisdom. Where's the wisdom? 5 pillars, mathematical pillars of Islam. So Elijah Muhammad, but you had all that energy, and you gave it to him, and he gave you something back. He absorbs it for himself. See, but Farrakhan he wants it all back. He wants you to give it all to him. He gives you nothing back. That's why in disavow, he got worse than that coming. So if you don't have any energy, that means you're going to lay back and you're going to enslave people. You want them to do the work for you. But if you got plenty of energy, you don't want. You do it yourself. Because you can't sit down. You got energy. Energy doesn't rest. If you're energy, you're gonna get up, you ain't gonna lay in that bed, you're gonna get up, you're gonna do something, you're gonna get out and take care of business, something. Like, at night I wake up, soon as I wake up, I jump out of the bed. I don't sit there and go back to sleep. I jump out of bed and go to the gym or something. So I hear brothers say, man, I don't think I'm doing enough. That tells me that they got energy. They're benefiting. Because you wouldn't think like that if you didn't have energy. You'd be saying, man, I'm tired of this, man. Man, I can't be doing this, man. I can't. That's why you got all these niggas that they don't want any part of this. Even though it's free, they don't want any part of this. They're too lazy. They don't have any energy. If they had energy, they'd be all over top of this. If our people had energy, they'd be all over top of this. Because there's nobody taking anything from them, right? They'd be all over top of this. They'll have energy. Why? Because of what they're doing. Eating 3 meals a day. So they're helpless, they're tired and lazy. So they don't want to think, and they don't want to give them a process. Plus, they ain't gonna upload the AL-INJIL because they got some energy for that. You gotta think. So have energy. And so if you deal with a person like that they're parasites. They'll suck your energy. They want you to do everything and they're sitting around. Who wants that? So now, you using all your energy to take care of yourself and them. That means now you can't use energy the way you want to use it to better yourself because you carrying them too. Who wants that? You got a lot of energy, you want to, you got a lot of energy, right? You want to take energy, right, to pursue your dreams. And that person should be wanting to pursue their dreams. But they got you pursuing their dreams for them. See, you got to make everything heaven for them. Like some of these people, I'm just using some females as an example because that's been my experience, right? They think once they marry you, all of a sudden, you got to put them in paradise. And if you don't put them in paradise, all of a sudden, something wrong with you. See, they get mad at you because also they're supposed to have this and that, and they think you ain't giving it to them. And so something wrong with you. And so marriages fall apart because all of a sudden, because that's what they think, because that's what they read on TV. I don't know if they still have these stories like Search for Tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. Oh, they still have stuff. When I was younger, right, in a previous life, right, black folks, women's reading that, watching that stuff, and then all day long, instead of taking care of business, taking care of children, that kind of stuff, they said watching that crap. You come home, the house all messed up, they ain't done anything, the kids, right, need diapers changed, all that kind of stuff, they haven't cooked anything, reading that stuff. And then all that crap they say on there, the devil's got on there, then they try to apply that on what they saw and they try to apply it to you. I turned that damn TV on and said, if you're going to watch that, you got to get up out of here. See, because I saw what was happening. See, I sat down one day and watched this. I said, hey, that's what you're doing. You're trying to apply this nonsense to me? Trying to control me? Because they're controlling. Those people are controlling. People that don't have no energy are controlling because they're trying to get your energy. They're controlling. Because people that has a lot of energy ain't controlling anything. They ain't trying to control nobody because they're happy to take care of business themselves. And that individual I was telling you about before, she was so controlling. And she had the wrong person because nobody's going to control me. Not willingly. The only way you control me, you got to put me in chains and keep them on there. So she had the wrong person. She drove herself crazy. She literally drove herself crazy. Literally. See. But the thing is, if you're not controlling when you have energy. So if you start practicing fasting you start building your energy up, right? Then you don't wait for anybody to do anything. You take care of business. I mean, they can't stop you. If you're a female or you male or whatever, if you at home, you work a home dad or whatever you call that, right? See, hey man, you're gonna be busy all day taking care of business. When they come, wife come home, man, it's cool. Or if you work and she come home, right? Everything, you know. It's like, my wife, she's not retired yet. She still wants to work. She don't have to work. I always told her from the very beginning, but she wants to work. So I'm not gonna stop. I won't take her money, right? But she just want to do. But she come home, food is cooked, house is clean. See, she only asked me to do it. See, because I got a lot of energy. I'm 72 years old. I got a lot of energy. I go to the gym every day. I do karate, right? I spend three, 3.5 to 5 miles on treadmill every day. Okay? I make my slots every day. I do a lot of stuff. Now I'm making these presentations. It takes a lot. You might think it's easy. It takes a lot of work to put these presentations together. Anybody that's worked with PowerPoint and stuff and look at this and see this is not easy to put these things together. And I do it every day. You don't see me look like I'm passing out to you. So if you got somebody that's lazy, they're eating 3 meals, everything, tired, all that kind of stuff, get obese, all that kind of stuff, then now you got to carry all that weight around. Not only do you take what you do, but you got to take, do work for them too. And that's what slavery, that's bottom line slavery is all about too, right? Because they has doing the work for them. They was lazy and weak, right? Eating 3 meals and everything else has out there. In fact, when we was out in the field, we might be eating 1 meal a day out there if we got that. Because they didn't fed so often, they fed like pigs. See? So they tired of that. That's interaction with people. See? So you don't want to interact with a person like that. Because they're going to steal from you if they can't get any other kind of way. They're parasites. Parasites take from you, they don't give anything back. Parasites. All these people, parasitic in some kind of way. So that's the way you want to be. If you're doing this, you're not going to be like that. You're fat, not going to be like that. And so people are going to respect you. They're going to be around you because you're light as a feather. You ain't asking them for anything. In fact, you more like to do something for them. You like to help them out. Nobody get mad at you helping them out. But he keeps saying, man, I need you to help me do this, help me do all kind of stuff. That's why, I mean, watch out, man. Step with that guy, man, because he gonna want you to help him do something. He don't want to do anything but himself. I need help for this, help for that. You see? But you go to the man, believe you're nothing but trouble. Stay away from that dude, man. Nothing be a trouble to stay around that person. You see? Oh man, boy, you go to nothing but drama. Gossiping, drama, man, nothing but a lot of drama over there. See him over there. See? You understand? Don't that person lie all the time, man. They don't take no accountability for anything. They got excuse for everything. It ain't never them. You can't trust them. You can't depend on them. See? Those say how people are in because they don't understand these 5 fundamental pillars of Islam. Five fundamental mathematical pillars of Islam. Are you like that? Are you? Or if you on the first principle, that means you're correcting it. That's what we're talking about. I was like that. See? I start correcting myself. So I'm better. Allah loves those who purify themselves. I ain't perfect. Well, I'm gonna take that back because we all are perfect. That's something I shouldn't really say that. See, because mathematics is perfect. Everything Allah made is perfect. The devil, he's a perfect devil. See, so if we perfecting ourselves, right, that's part of the perfection. But those that ain't right, well, that means that mathematically, right, they can't move on. I'm gonna leave that alone. That needs a little talking about. Because there's nothing in this creation that's not perfect. Because everything is mathematics. Mathematics is perfect. See? See, if somebody use that, say, man, I'm perfect. Yeah, you are. But are you perfect fool? Are you perfect devil? Think about that one. See. Okay. Oops. Oops. What's going on? Okay. Harmony. Now this one. Okay, we talk about the other ones now. Harmony. That means you're going, you communicate with other people, right? You're trying to, like I'm doing right now, see? Because you put that information out there, if a person starts picking up on it, right? That means they start thinking those type of acting that way. That means now, right? They're not a burden anymore. And so you can deal with that person. So now you want to be around that person, that burden you. So they're a companion, they're a warrior, they're a fellow warrior. You see? Not a burden. And you can respect and depend on that person. You can trust them. Their lives are feather. So you're turning lead into feathers. You see? So eventually, because what you need to understand, brothers and sisters, I think I talked about this before when I was talking about how unity, the whole president said about unity a while back, how you put together, it diminishes the pressure under. We're carrying the burden of all our people that's in this constitution. Remember, our hearts are connect to everybody. So we're carrying that burden now. So by just doing it, that means we minimize it, but we still carry the burden because we interact with these people every day. We're carrying that burden on us. So if you don't do anything, that means you're going to carry that burden on you the rest of your life. You're carrying that burden on you. We're carrying the burden of all our people that's not doing this, that don't know his 5 pillars, that's emotional, religious, right? Carrying all these, because all the trouble, we deal with all of that. They got hearts, we're experiencing, we're picking up on all that. That's why we're doing all this here, right? And what we're doing, right, is minimizing it, but we're still affected by it. So the more we do it, the less we're affected by it. We're still affected by it. So we carrying on that burden. We carrying the burden of 17 million black folks on us. Imagine if they start thinking like this here, we'd be in paradise overnight. That's why that's wheels, turning wheels. See? Those of you that have been listening and start applying this, just think for 30 years, I had the burden of nobody paying attention to me at all. And I'm still carrying that burden on me. To keep on doing it, keep on doing it, because if I wasn't doing it, you wouldn't have it right now. If I hadn't kept doing it, you wouldn't have this right now. You'd be hearing this. And you would have no idea what's going on in your life. See? That's why I say it looked like he was slain from the foundation of earth, and no one could break that seal for him. So it looked like he was slain from the foundation of earth. That means like you can't imagine. Because that's what it takes to get our people spin, because they're going in the wrong direction. You got that one little gear, and you got 17 million gears, right, going in the wrong direction. You got that one little small gear trying to, see, trying to. Because Elijah Muhammad, he put it on neutral. And that man, woo, to put that in neutral, you don't understand what that means. I understand what it means now because I'm trying to get it going and drive. See? For I had to come and get him, make a man strong enough, make that gear strong enough, he get there and put it in neutral. That means everybody's going the wrong direction. He had to stop and going the wrong direction, put it in neutral. That's far as he could get it. And then it would take Suleiman to take it from neutral into drive. But then you had Farrakhan come here and try to get back going in reverse again. So that means Suleiman's got his job to do, plus he's got to clean up Farrakhan stuff right? So that means he got to do part of Elijah's job. That's why it said the messenger of the covenant, he had to come and clean it up. So he couldn't start from scratch. He had to clean up something before he could go move farther. That's what it's talking about. Because Elijah had set up, they're supposed to build a bridge between Elijah and Suleiman. That means they were supposed to lead this thing in reverse. In neutral. Then Suleiman will pick up from there. But no, they let this thing go back in reverse. So now he had to come and put it back in neutral before he could take it into thrive again. So he had part of Elijah's job to do and his job to do too. This is happening. See? So let's look at this. Let's and close this out. So if you don't do that, right? Our people out there hung up in a Democratic Party, confrontations, disagreeable. Everybody got their own opinions, arguing. No peace, conflicts. That's where people are right now. Can't talk to them. All these things work together. See? It's not about opinions. It ain't about logic or reason. Or that's my opinion, that's where I feel. Remember how people say, that's how I feel? When somebody tells me that's how I feel, right away I back off. Because I'm not interested in your feelings. I'm already feeling your feelings right now. See? Because my heart's connected to your heart. I'm feeling that. But your feelings, are we animals? Are we human? It shouldn't be about your feelings. It should be about consequence, whether it's right or wrong. Not how you feel about it. Because a lot of us, right or wrong, depends on how we feel. It not depends on what's right or wrong. What's right or wrong depends on their feelings. If they feel good about it, it's right. If they feel bad about it, it's wrong. It has nothing to do with what's really right or wrong. And a lot of us in that situation. And that's what democracy is all about. Confrontation, disagreeable. Everybody got opinions, not about facts or nothing. So it was if the majority of people in the United States says, we're going to take and we're going to make a law, right, that everybody got to eat shit, right? Then you got to do it, or you go to jail because the majority rules. Okay? And our people are all messed up in that. I'm not going into all the detail about them, but just one basic thing right here. The majority rules, right? And you got black folks that's so illogical, they're in this Democratic Party. And it's a majority rules. So how does it make sense for you to go on your way to the voting booth, you stop off Planned Parenthood and abort your baby? How does that make any sense? Because you just neutralized the vote that you just made. You just killed it. So what was the point? You're better off not even voting at all. 22 million accounting. So how is our people locked up in the Democratic Party? Because they ain't doing any of this stuff. Because if they were doing any of this stuff, they wouldn't be about those people. Because those people are totally against you. I'm not going into details. I've talked about it. But I'm just, for this purpose of what we're talking about here, I'm just trying to show you interaction with people. So how are you interacting? Are you a burden? Or are you light as a feather? Because we're doing this, light as a feather. That means you can be trusted. You ain't causing any confusion. You ain't bringing trouble, hurricanes in people's lives. See what I'm saying? You ain't putting work. You ain't trying to control them. Steal their energy. Take care of business. Is that type of person you are? Because that's what these 5 pillars will make. If you're doing these 5 pillars, right? That means, hey, you're going to be trustworthy, right? You're going to be firm of heart. You're not going to be emotional. You'll be rational, right? You're going to be calm. You're not going to be hurricanes and stuff in your life. Energetic, take care of business. Take care of your family. Working, whatever you need to do. See? and you out here making a difference because you're helping your people, right? You create harmony. See? Because every time we get some understand this, that means that take a little more burden off us. Because right now, brothers and sisters, you may not realize it, but we're carrying the weight of all our people's their ignorance of this, the consequences of their actions that I just talked about. It's all affecting all of us. We carry all that on, carry all that on us. We carry all that on us because we're dealing with, we interact with them, right? So that means we got to work extra hard, right, to keep from being overtaken by them. See, that means we got to make extra slops, extra fasting. See, got to be very careful about the cotton. Keep life simple. Spend what we get. Don't be extravagant and all that kind of stuff. Quran tells you that it shouldn't be that way. See? Just spend out what we have given you. See? And then we're trying to talk to our people. You can't force them. Talk to people, right? So, and you get them to start understanding these 5 pillars. Now that's some pressures just went off of you. And now they're doing the same thing. Because once all people start going, and they're going to be going pretty soon, this war breaks out, right? Because right now, there's energy coming in, but they don't know what to do with it. Like blind elephants, so they get in all trouble. I mean, the situation's getting worse because they got energy like a blind elephant. The elephant gets bigger. If he's blind when he's small, he ain't that much of trouble, right? But when he gets bigger, and he's a big bull elephant and he's still blind, man, whoa, we're going to tear up everything. And that's what our people get energized, but they don't have, they're blind. That's the whole thing about Samson. Remember, he got his energy back, his hair grew back, but he didn't get his eyes. So he killed everybody and himself too. So our people being energized. Momentum is in the heavens and earth, but come to you but of a sudden. Every 50 years. This is the 50th year from the 60s. People being energized. They don't know what to do. So they got the energy. So now they're making things worse. See? Eat more. See, they was eating 3 meals a day, but they didn't have that much to eat. But now they got a lot of money. So now they're eating twice. Now instead of eating 300 calories a day, 100 in the morning, 100 after 100 eat, they eat 300, 900 calories, 300 in the morning, chips and all other garbage. See what I'm saying? Now they go, man, they jam themselves even more. See? Now before they couldn't, they only could afford to buy some alcohol. Now they got to afford to buy Oxycontin, all that stuff. They got more money. They got more energy. So then it makes itself even worse. Now they got more money. They give preaching more money. So he's preaching like garbage out there, destroying more our people. So they give more money so the church gets bigger to spread that garbage. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? That's what's happening. Yourself more trouble. Now, got more money, so now they go and get a bigger mortgage and a bigger car, credit. But they'll understand that it don't work that. That's the way KV tells them. But when you get that car, you pay for it then full price right there as far as mathematics concerned. So now you go out there, I got 2 cars now. Now I got a big old mansion. I got all this energy. And now you got all this hurricanes in your life, all this trouble. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. Because they're blind elephants. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So that's why we harmony. We got to get this message to them. See, that's the 5th one. Because now we understand it, we applying these things, but now we got to apply it to our brothers and sisters. That's the harmony part, to get them to understand it. See, otherwise you got those blind relatives running around and you feeling it. Because when they go to the emotional thing and they go all this stuff, remember, our hearts are connected. You feel those vibrations, all that stuff they're going through. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Okay, this is to show you. Consequence is the most fundamental, it's that typex. The other four are the consequence, the main pillar. The other four pillars rest on consequence. They're all aspects of consequence. Pressure is consequence. Force is consequence, all aspects of it. Right? It's like 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. 1 plus 6, just different aspects of it. It's still 7. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.